Today is Good Friday. Now, most people making videos today and talking today are going to tell you about what happened to Jesus at the crucifixion, the beating, etc. I'm not going to talk about that. There's a reason I'm not going to talk about that. See, I have a memory. I was in my early 20s. I was sitting in church about 3/4 of the way back, and we had a guest speaker. And that guest speaker went into a lot of gory detail about what happened to Jesus on Good Friday. Well, I am a very visual person, and that description has stuck with me all these years. And while I appreciate what Jesus did for me, and I have apologized to him very many times that he had to go through what he had to go through so that I could be saved, because I was a sinner and I needed salvation. And I so appreciate what Jesus went through. But I'm not going to give you gory details. Somebody else can do that. I can't handle it. If somebody starts giving the gory details, I shut them down. If somebody shows a picture, you know that picture from the Passion of the Christ, the picture of Jesus all messed up? I can't look at it. Maybe I'm too sensitive, I don't know. But I do appreciate what Jesus did. I appreciate what he went through for me. So what am I going to talk about today if I'm not going to talk about the Passion? Well, I was reading in Ecclesiastes today in chapter 3. You know, where it says there's a time for this and a time for that. Time to give birth and a time to die. Now that's a tough one for me. See, I gave birth to 3 children, and one of them is no longer on this earth. Was it her time to die? I don't think so. She took her own life. If you have a loved one who has taken their own life, you know how hard it is for those of us who are left behind. But it goes on. There's a lot of time for this and time for this. But a couple of verses later, it says there's a time to heal. And that healing is physical, emotional, spiritual. So if you've had someone, a loved one who has taken their life, remember that God can heal that pain. Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted. So let him heal your broken heart. It also says that there's a time to weep and a time to laugh. And you know, sometimes you do that both at the same time. You ever gone to a funeral of somebody that you loved and you're sad because they died, but there's somebody there that's just telling stories on them that are just hysterical, and you're laughing at the funeral? And that is not inappropriate. It's good to remember those who have died. Remember the good things. Remember their talents, their abilities. Remember the funny stories, the things that they did, and who they were. Because you know, it says there's a time to mourn and a time to dance. Well, I don't dance much anymore except for chair dancing because, you know, I'm not as young as I used to be. But I do like to chair dance sometimes. I'll sit in my recliner and some good song comes on and I just get my chair dance on. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it amuses God, really. And then here's another one, a time to keep and a time to throw away. You know, when you're living in a house and you've been there for a long time, you tend to get a bunch of stuff. Don't believe me? That's my china cabinet. Most of the stuff in there I've had for a long time, but you know what? There's not as much in there as there used to be. Because I moved a few months ago, and when I moved, I got rid of a lot of stuff before I moved. And after I moved, I got rid of more stuff. You know why? I moved from a big house to a smaller house. I didn't have room. So yeah, there's a time to throw things away. And I've already apologized to my children because someday they're going to have to clean out my house, and I still have a lot of stuff. Especially pictures on the wall, most of which I created because I used to do counted cross stitch. See that one up there? That one right there? That's just one of the many counted cross stitches I've done. And I crochet. I've made more afghans than I can count. And I've given a lot of them away. My kids have some. Even my ex-husband has one, unless he threw it away. I don't know. Anyway, it also says there's a time to be silent and a time to speak. Now, I'm not going to get political, but it is an election year. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. But I will tell you that you need to vote according to the Word of God. And now I have spoken, and then I will keep silent. I love y'all. Thanks for watching.